how I figured out that my best friend was stealing from me. We would be having sleepovers almost every weekend, always at my house because I hate spending the night at other people's houses. I start seeing my stuff getting posted on her social media, her friends' social medias, and I was like, oh, like that kind of looks like my stuff. And keep in mind, some of the stuff was basic, but also having the exact same color of the thing I'm missing is kind of wild. So I kept asking my friends, I was like terrified to ask her. I was like, should I ask her? They were like, you have to. I asked her and she was like, no, like that's my friend's, like we were just wearing it one night, like it's hers, like I can FaceTime you, show you proof, anything. And at that point I was like, wow, I'm like a really bad friend for assuming that my friend was stealing from me. Like how could I, like I'm a terrible person. Started seeing stuff my mom gave me, stuff I've thrifted, stuff that you can't repurchase. I was like, okay, I'm not even a bad person for this, I'm confronting her. So again, she denies it. I'm like, is this a joke? Is this a freaking joke? We stopped being friends, mostly because I kept asking for my clothes back and she kept denying it and it just wasn't working out. I keep reaching out, I keep texting. One day she unadds me off Snap, so I'm like, you know what? I'm calling her mom. I call and text her mom. She didn't reply to me, but she took a screenshot and sent it to her daughter. Her daughter sent it to me. I was like, okay, great. So the one time I actually tried to do this. And then she's like, you know what? Friendships happen. Like, I understand. Like, you'll get your stuff back. She told me we would all work it out. Keep in mind, this girl is going to move to a whole new state in like a month. So I was determined to get my stuff back. I had my mom call her mom, and her mom was like, oh, she did? No, like she was surprised and stuff. And she's like, oh yeah, I've seen that. I've been asking her where she got that from because I did not buy that for her. So I ended up getting a few pieces back. A few, I'm talking like 2. I got 2 pieces back. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then I'm like, where is my stuff going? I am not seeing any of the stuff I would wear all the time, even stuff I know I had but didn't wear. Then her friend posts a photo of her wearing my hoodie that I thrifted, so she could not have bought it. So I was done. I texted her, I was like, give me my hoodie back right now. Like, I'm not playing games, like, give it back to me. She eventually does, but I had to go pick it up, go figure. And then I just keep seeing more of my stuff. She keeps denying it. I see my green corset, and I was like, that is mine. You cannot have that. Like, that is mine. Eventually, she flipped on me, trying to make me seem like the bad person. She has her friends commenting on my page. She's telling people I got with her ex-boyfriend. Never do that. Listen, I have my faults, but getting with someone's ex is not one of them. Anyways, she ends up returning one thing in the mailbox. She just shoves it in there, and that's all I've heard from her. She has not replied to any of my texts, any of my calls, nothing.
What somebody said to me this weekend is literally the main reason why I just don't like talking to random people at the bar. Literally top 3 most uncomfortable things anyone has ever said to me in my life. The worst part is it came from a woman. This past weekend was my birthday. So of course me, my friends, and my boyfriend went out. It was a great time until this lady made me so uncomfortable. Let me paint the scene for you. Me and the girls were on the dance floor. The guys were sitting at the bar, so there were no men near us. This lady comes up to us and she was probably around my mom's age. She starts talking to us about what? I don't know. It was my birthday weekend, so I wasn't like fully there. I was definitely a little f***ed up. This woman was definitely drunk. I get it, but still, it doesn't make it okay for her to say to me what she said to me. I forget how we got on the topic, but basically I told her it was my 24th birthday, and she goes, oh, do you have a boyfriend? I'm like, yeah, he's over there sitting at the bar. And what she said next is honestly diabolical. She goes, oh, gotta be careful. This is when they start looking at the 18-year-olds. I'm like, excuse me? She goes, yeah, it's bound to happen. This is what happened with my ex-husband. This was my literal reaction. I was so shook, and I was like, who says that? I legitimately had no answer. I was just like, what? Like, not even a happy birthday, just a, your boyfriend's gonna turn into a creep. Babe, just because you dated a borderline pedophile doesn't mean the rest of us are in the same boat. I never asked her why he was her ex-husband, but I can pretty much figure it out. The fact that there are men like that out there makes me so uncomfortable to the point where I literally don't even want to have kids. They're just out and about, and the scary part is you never know what's going on in someone's head. Honestly, it makes me never want to go outside. I low-key did feel bad for this woman, but like, who says that to somebody on their birthday? Bye!
Alright, y'all, so I just seen a story time of this girl saying when she was in elementary school, when she didn't do her homework, she would erase the name of somebody else's paper and write her name on it. And that reminded me of the time I did my homework. I remember I did my homework because I didn't do it that night, but when I got to school, I realized I didn't do it, and I wanted to go to recess, so I hurried up and tried to do it then and there. And when it came time for recess, they had called out the people who couldn't go to recess or something. I can't remember, but they put me in detention. And in detention, it was like this scary man. His name was Mr. Campbell. And you would have to write 100 times why you will not do what you did to get in here again. So it would be like, I would do my homework, I would do my homework, I would do my homework 100 times. But I was like, why am I in here? And he told me. And I was like, I did do my homework. And he told me, like, you can go look for your paper in the bin. So I go look for my paper in the bin, and I don't really see my name at all. So then I start looking, and I remember all of this, that we had to do. They gave us 10 words, but every week you got to do something with them 10 words. But this day, it was pick 5 words out of those 10 words and make it into a sentence. And I was rushing that I didn't even realize that I did 10 words instead of 5. So I did more than what I was supposed to, than what everybody else did. So I knew that was my paper, and I looked, and it was my boyfriend in 5th grade who erased my name and put his name on it. I was just so heartbroken because, like, why would you not want me to play recess with you? Why would you pick me? It made me realize that he must hate me or something, and I just was delusional. It was just weird that he was mad. Oh, yeah, he was mad at me that he did it, and I told on him. You took my recess time away. I don't play like that. But that was my first heartbreak, I think.
I got kicked out of the bathroom by a former high school mean girl, and I know that she was a former high school mean girl. She was an adult. She was like in her 30s at this point. She was very mean to me when we worked in the office together. The only time she was nice was when she was talking about high school or showing me pictures of how pretty she was in high school. She reminded me a lot of an antagonist from a Disney show. She was dating this pool noodle, and she had a tiny little dog she carried around with her everywhere. And while he was very cute, he did sound like he was chronically suffocating. And so every single time she came to a room, you would know, because his tiny little dog would just come running in, sounding like he was drowning despite being surrounded by oxygen, and we all felt so bad for him. And so one day we had this team meeting, and she walked ahead of me into the bathroom. I was just like 2 steps behind her, and she saw me walking behind her, and she spun around in the doorway, and she was like, "You can't come in here." And I said, "What?" And she said, "This is a 1-person bathroom only." And I said, "No, it's not. There's multiple stalls over there for multiple people to use." She said, "Well, I like to have lots of room for my tiny little dog to run around." And I said, "That's fine. If she runs into my stall, I promise not to touch her, if that's what you're worried about. And if you're worried about something else, I promise not to poop in there. I'm just doing a number 1. And she was like, "No, that's not, just, you can't come in here." And I also, while this is all happening, there was a man standing 2 feet from us staring at us. He was our coworker. He was about to go into the men's bathroom, and he saw the drama happening and just like stood there and watched, did nothing. And I'm thinking, why is she being so weird? And then I thought, oh, are you pee shy? And she said, no, I'm not pee shy. And I said, it's okay if you are. I know a lot of people who are pee shy, and I'm happy to wait outside if you tell me that's the problem. And she said, no, you just can't come in here. This bathroom is for 1 person. And I was like, no, it has stalls. It was the stupidest fight I've ever got into. And anyway, she was just like, you can't sit with us. You can't come in here. And finally, I was just like, you know what? Whatever. This is not worth the drama. The boss loves you because you're both Tauruses. And so I'm going to go use the downstairs bathroom. The only thing I ever had that I could hold over her at that job in my heart was that I knew our boss secretly hated her dog. He liked Mason so much better.
Okay, so boom, story time. So today I pull up to work. I worked the night shift, and I was like, okay, it's gonna be a good day, even though I did not want to come. I just didn't have a good feeling, but I was like, I'm gonna just make the best of it. It's my last night. So whatever, I get to work, I'm having a good day, and then my work boyfriend texts me. He's a RN, and I'm a phlebotomist, so I work in the lab, so we don't work on the same floor, right? So I had to go up there and draw some blood. So when I went up there, I seen him. He was like, hey, you want to go have lunch? And I'm like, yeah, cool. What time you going to lunch? So we end up going to lunch at the same time. Perfect, boom, bam, so in love. Like, let's go to my car and have lunch or whatever. I'm like, okay, cool, bet. We're gonna have like a little work date. Like, we don't really see each other like that outside of work, so we're just gonna have a work date or whatever, right? So we get to his car, we eating, we like getting out the car to walk back in, like, y'all, we then boom, 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 boom. Like, you know, giving real Grey's Anatomy vibes in the hospital. So now we walking back into the hospital. So as we leave in the parking structure and we walking out, we hear this like car like speeding through the parking structure. Like, you know how it echoes real loud. We hear a car speeding through the parking structure. So what made us both like turn around and look. So as we turn around and look, like, I'm looking, and when I turn around, y'all, all I see is him running. So now I'm in confusion. All I hear her yelling out the window is like, oh, you didn't think I was going to catch you? You didn't think I was going to catch you? Y'all, chaos, mayhem, absolute insanity. And I'm in the ER.